Hey, welcome back to a Brain Muffin at the Movies, everybody. And I heard rumors of this, so I had to look it up because I thought, well, maybe it's just kind of, and this still may be in the rumor category. So I was able to find this, but this is being reported by several different places. So I don't know how much of it's a rumor and how much it's blown out of proportion or whatever. But Captain Marvel MCU future in doubt, Avengers cast unhappy. Now, remember, Martin Downey Jr., who started this whole thing with Iron Man, the first Iron Man, he was paid $500,000 for that first movie. It had similar budget that Captain Marvel did. In fact, many of those movies around 150 million, 120 to 150 million. Adjusted for inflation, it's actually more than what Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel has the lowest budget adjusted for inflation in constant dollars, as they say. And Brie Larson was paid $5 million for Captain Marvel. Perhaps because she won an Oscar, I don't know. But there was quite a bit, I think, banking on her being the lead in Phase 4, so post Endgame. I really think that we're going to see Robert Downey. Did I say Martin Downey Jr.? I think Robert's going to pull away from it. I don't think we're going to see Iron Man, or we're going to see Iron Man in much reduced capacity. I don't know if he'll die. I could see him die in a heroic death. But we have Pepper Potts was pregnant. That was one of the things that hinted at in some of the other movies. So it's conceivable that he'll just hang it up and pass it on to Falcon will become Iron Man, or somebody else, hopefully not Riri. So, that's quite a bit. And for an actress who has not proven herself in the MCU universe. But you have actresses who have been in several movies. I don't know what they're paid. Elizabeth Olsen here in this picture, I don't know what she's been in several movies. And you've also had Scarlett Johansson, who's been in. Now, they've not been the leads, but they've been very active members of the Avengers and the group. And so anyway, a new rumor was landed online that echoes my own concerns about the Captain Marvel movie and Brie Larson. This is claimed to be coming from on top, as high as Disney CEO Bob Iger. The rumor claims that the Avengers cast certain members of the Avengers cast is unhappy with Brie Larson being the face of the MCU going forward. It is said one particular actress hinted at being Elizabeth Olsen feels that they're getting pushed aside, and they are. This is a rumor I can actually believe. Now, how angry they are or how annoyed they are, what's in their contracts, I don't know the particulars. But Captain Marvel's, she hasn't been there for years, like some of these other women have been. I would have rather seen a Black Widow standalone movie, maybe a Black Widow Hawkman pairing movie. At this point in the MCU, I don't know how much standalone movies actually make sense. Maybe they're sent on a side mission, like say before Infinity War. But we know that they both, Hawkman survived. So they could have a movie that's kind of an extension of Infinity War, is a side mission to do something and then becomes important in Endgame. But I can also understand trying to breathe a little bit of life into because I'm bored of the MCU. I've been bored for years. It's claimed the release of Captain Marvel movie this weekend will prove the Avengers cast members correct, that Brie Larson is not the right fit for this character, for this franchise, and that she is going to be found out when the movie is released. That's a very interesting quote. They don't say who. Film Gob on YouTube offers that Marvel is worried that the Disney CEO Bob Iger is unhappy with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige. Feige is the only one who has been backing Brie Larson all this time. It has been several years. Iger is said to be unhappy with the direction of Captain Marvel, and there is now an uncertainty about Captain Marvel's future in the MCU. So, there's also reports that as Bob Iger's been very unhappy with Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm, yet she got a contract extension. Now, there was all kinds of rumors that she was going to get fired, that he tried to fire her, but no one wants the job. I can understand that. Kevin Feige he's run a pretty good ship for 10, 11 years now. And he's really about due for a misstep, and maybe this is a bad casting, and maybe it isn't. The reviews have been coming in, and it's kind of a mediocre movie, but I found Wonder Woman to be mediocre too. So further claims that Brie Larson and Captain Marvel could get killed off earlier than Brie Larson's contract due to the potential fallout. And that could basically, if it doesn't go very well, she could just be paid for the movies that she depends on what the contract is, or they could buy out her contract or something like that. Obviously, it's unknown if the rumor is true, but it could be very well be legit, as there is an ongoing Captain Marvel controversy, and the Washington Post even confirmed the film is undergoing a major PR nightmare. That is for sure. And this is her. She won't shut up. She's pushing all of her identity politics, and that's getting people to be annoyed. Whether it's in the movie or not is immaterial. It's, but it was, people were doing it with Black Panther, but that wasn't the cast. That was outsiders, if you will, people trying to attach themselves to the project, and it wasn't really in the movie that way. Certainly, Bob Iger doesn't want another Star Wars Last Jedi on Disney's hands, which has caused fans to stop supporting Star Wars, leading to Han Solo failing at the box office and Disney placing its Star Wars movies on hiatus. Yep, first movie to bomb, as Star Wars movie to bomb. As I have questioned many times, will the MCU share a similar fate because of Brie Larson, Kevin Feige, and Captain Marvel? I'd say this is mostly Brie Larson, but she starts talking, and it's really Kevin that needs to get her back in line. And I don't really care what your politics are. You don't want to just go crapping on at least half your fans. Most of the people that go to these movies are white males. So why are you instigating them to dislike your movie? Brie Larson and Samuel Jackson have both been both on the hot seat, as Larson has been in trouble for politically correct comments about white dudes. Really, I think it's politically incorrect, but anyway. Regarding Jackson, he recently compared President Donald Trump to a slave plantation owner and F-bombed the president. Yeah, it's not surprising. Regardless of what side of the political spectrum you land on and where you are in business, you have to answer to investors, and that's not a good thing to alienate your audience. Just asked Sony director Paul Feige and the 2016 Ghostbusters. Yes, Larson is supposed to, and that actually, it's not a great movie, but I think it could have done better if they weren't crapping all over men at the beginning of it, and that was the problem. Larson is supposed to star in a total of 7 movies and be the new face. See, she's replacing Iron Man, and that's just crazy. You could say that Robert Downey Jr. was a good cast, and it was, a bit of him trying to rebuild his career. And it was, that could have been lightning in a bottle. It could be very well that once this comes to an end, the MCU cannot be revived by any actress or actor. So, I mean, that's quite possible. I would not be surprised. Regarding Elizabeth Olsen potentially being upset, I may also have some merit, as her character was arguably being built up as one of the more powerful characters in the MCU, as Scarlet Witch's powers are defined from an Infinity Stone. In addition, the end of Infinity War saw Scarlet Witch sacrifice her lover's Vision, only to have Thanos reverse time, kill Vision, kill her, and the rest of the Avengers. Now, instead of, he didn't kill all the Avengers. He only killed some. I don't think he really killed any of them until he snapped his finger. About half of them, right? Now, instead of Scarlet Witch, by all accounts, Captain Marvel swooping into the Avengers Endgame to save the day, to add Olsen's possible frustration with Marvel, while Brie Larson will be starring in 7 Marvel movies and be facing Olsen is being relegated to a lower budget Disney. That could also be a big part of it right there. She's been in three movies, I think, right? So was she? I know Civil War, Age of Ultron, and Infinity War, right? If I remember correctly, and she's a mutant, I believe. So they could have done some other things with her too. Has been in the unit. Okay, that Captain America Winter Soldier, right at the end. But Brie Larson and Carol Danvers are dropped off in the MC, and I don't know how Scarlet Witch does in the comics and stuff like that, but Captain Marvel has been a rebooted character that they can't seem to get anybody to be behind. As Miss Marvel, it wasn't too bad, but it's the rebooted version that people don't really like. The characters is retconned as being responsible for the Avengers and more, which has no basis in the 10 years worth of Marvel films. Yeah, see, that's just stupid. To do that is just dumb. To have her, maybe plant a seed, but really, you have already said Captain America First Avenger. You've already had that movie and that title. You had Nick Fury kind of putting together when Captain America arrives. They thaw him out and all that stuff. And at the end of that, you have this idea of bringing, starting this Avengers group. But I wouldn't mind if this is a lot of play and it's just like a sentence as she leaves Earth. Maybe you should have your own Avengers or something like that. And then we go from there. I also previously mentioned and pointed out that I disagree with how Marvel and Kevin Feige have been promoting Captain Marvel, which sees them forcing the character on the fans comes off as being on the offense, in turn making fans immediately feel defensive. Their latest promotion to get fans to purchase tickets, teases, it's a new captain arrives, and it's just stupid. But the thing is she doesn't do well in the comics, so I don't expect her to do well in the movie. If this was a known character and much loved by the fans, there'd probably be no problem. They'd probably be like, finally, we get Captain Marvel. But she isn't. And but I said as Miss Marvel, I think she's a little bit better. But it's a character that's been rebooted multiple times. In the 80s, she was a black lady and was started as a man. But anyway, so we have some interesting comments. Is damaged goods with Disney? The controversy will never stop. Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's Brie Larson that's the damaged goods, not the character. And then when they've rebooted her as a pure-fledged SJW in the comics, it was they can't even give 20. I don't even know if it sold 20,000 copies. I mean, that's insane. But that ought to tell you what people don't want. This political stuff. They want to read. It's kind of escapism. They want to feel better about themselves. They don't feel like they're the problem. Pretty much done with MCU after Endgame. Yeah, a lot of fans are, and I think that was the original plan. I think it's Disney that's forced the hand. So I really don't give a whole lot of things to Bob Iger because he's part of the problem. Okay. So anyways, looks like there's gone back and forth banter, but yeah. So what do you think? You think, Elizabeth Olsen do you think this rumor's true? You think Elizabeth Olsen has something to, some merit to her discontent? I think she does. And, I think that, I think a smaller scale Avenger style movies would be great. If, 2 or 3, maybe 4 people, not the whole ensemble. And maybe some that interweave. So maybe you have a one that's kind of centered on Doctor Strange, but 3 or 4 other people are there. And then the next one, let's say it's Scarlet Witch. And if Vision, survives the whole thing, maybe it's the 2 of them. And maybe, Strange comes through, or maybe Thor comes through. Then maybe there's another Thor movie or something where it's not just a singleton. It's just kind of the Avengers, like side adventures or whatever, mini cruise. But the adventures of Black Widow and Hawkeye or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with that. And then I'm really, 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 really sick of origin movies. Just go. Just because, do the origin, like maybe in the first 5 minutes if you have to do an origin. If it's completely unknown character or something you just made up. All right, so what do you think? Thanks for sharing, and thanks so much for the comments on my other videos. I really appreciate it. And the new subscribers, welcome everybody. Let me know what you want to see. All right, thank you very much. Goodbye. Yeah, I know. I was listening to that. It sounds very rough. This is better. There's a lot of other noise. Okay, let's go. Let's kick over. 3, 2, 1.